know there's been a history of access and the access agenda for college tuition, right? How do people afford it? And now we're actually talking about, thanks to the president's new agenda, how you make a quality higher education affordable and thereby extending access. What do you think about the president's new plans? He just put them out, I believe, a couple of weeks ago.
Right. I mean, I think it's a step in the right direction. I think that recent college graduates are entering one of the most challenged job markets in recent history, and the fear is most of them are entering this market maybe not with the right skill sets or unprepared in a variety of ways for a lot of the functions that business owners at every level are looking for. And I think that it's time that we have an intelligent debate about what's happening with regards to not only college loans, but also the level of the return on investment that students are receiving from this massive investment they're making into their bachelor's degree or their postgraduate degree or whatever it might be.
Sam, you talk about in your article how you talk a lot about that access, and we do know that prices have increased over the last several years, 3 decades, by over 250%. And then we also know that 2 out of 3 college grads are finding jobs that they don't necessarily even need perhaps a college degree or even a high school degree for. What do you think about how to actually disrupt what's going on? Because if you look at the debate going back several decades now, at least 2 decades, it's still the same thing with minor adjustments. What actually has to be done to disrupt it properly?
Well, Jolene, I think that it starts with the point of view that colleges have. And, I think that students are customers in this whole equation.
Right.
And I think that for the last 30 years, over the last 30 years, the demands of what a degree is supposed to provide a student or a customer with in order to enter the marketplace has changed. The skill sets required have changed. However, you see that the cost of college has gone up over 250% over the last 30 years. And, I know for myself, our organization at Sales Huddle, we work with a number of companies to try to find talent, to try to match them with the right skills that they need. And, the issue for the colleges, I think we need to have the debate, and part of the president's plan, which is to institute this rating or ranking system, is a critical first step to shake colleges to really start to step back and think about what's the ROI on the degree that they're providing to their customers. And it's going to start to have them look closer at things like placement rate. They're going to look at what they're going to open up the curriculum book and say, are these courses and this subject matter related to the market today? As an example, we work in the sports industry, and there's over 400 universities that do sports management today, and most of those universities will produce a student that comes into the market that will have to be in a revenue-generating role. The first job they have is in sales or service, and Harvard Business Review came out with a massive study about a year ago that said less than 1% of universities across the U.S. offer a major or a minor in sales. So we really need to step back and say, are we preparing students for this market today? And if we aren't, maybe we need Washington to step in to a degree to force them to do so.
What do you say to the supporters of total free market enterprise in the sense that, they don't believe it should be regulated at all, or even that colleges should just charge the going rate, and if you can't afford it, you can't afford it? I know this is not a popular view, but I just have to voice as devil's advocate, because a lot of it has to do, in my view, to the price that is offered. It's sort of all ships rise and all prices rise as the seas rise, right? But you also have people who say if you can't afford college, do not take out the loan, do not go to college. Is that a good idea? Is that a valid argument from where you sit?
Absolutely. I mean, I believe that, there needs to be shared responsibility and shared accountability here. And I definitely, there are going to be some students who college is maybe not the right next step for them. There are definitely some Americans who the next right step might be to go to a technical school or to go a different route. I think that we need to better set up an infrastructure to educate the marketplace on, and this will cause us to realign the curriculum and what a college degree is supposed to provide to a student that that decides to apply and go through that program. So I completely agree with you that there's definitely a point of view that if you and I think that's also what this rating system, and I think that what some of the initiatives that were laid out will do by challenging institutions to make better decisions on what students they're going to admit into their program, and will cause the money that's being dispersed to be dispersed more responsibly.
Looking at all the students who already have graduated and they're bearing thousands, tens of thousands of dollars in student debt, we've gone through this entire student loan interest rate debate in Congress. Does it really matter what the interest rate is in your view, especially looking towards those who have already graduated? What's the solution there for addressing the massive student debt and then looking at an economy that needs people to be spending more?
You know, I mean, I think that there's good points on both sides of the conversation here, but, you know, at the end, I'm a firm believer that we need to get people back to work. We need to find ways to boost the economy, and we need to find ways to make sure that the large number of students that are coming into the marketplace are able to step into organizations who need their help. I think there's a point of view that companies aren't hiring, and, you know, I know we work with a number of organizations who are knocking on our door every day. Have you found us a candidate? Have you found us a candidate yet? And, you know, the challenge is finding the team members in the market who are prepared. The work is out there. We need to make sure we find a way to make sure that the jobs we do create will stick, so the students coming in are prepared to be able to take on those new opportunities.